Hello all my friends from all over the world. Welcome to Egypt, my country. If you looking for royal information about my country, about Egypt or study or tourism or for stay in Egypt.
Trump indicted in case of alleged mishandling of government secrets. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted on federal charges for storing dozens of classified documents at his Florida resort and refusing to return them to the FBI and the National Archives. He faces 7 counts including willful retention of information related to national defense, at least 1 false statements charge and at least 1 charge related to obstruction. According to a source with knowledge of the charges, charging documents from a federal grand jury in Miami have not been made public. I never thought it possible that such a thing could happen to a former president of the United States, who received far more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, and is currently leading, by far, all candidates, both Democrat and Republican, in polls of the 2024 presidential election. I am an innocent man, Trump said in a post on his Truth Social platform. Trump said in a statement that he has been summoned to appear in federal court in Miami on Tuesday. The probe has intensified in recent days and Trump's lawyers met with Justice Department officials in Washington, D.C., earlier this week to try to stave off the charges. A spokesman for DOJ Special Counsel Jack Smith said they had no comment at this time. Smith, a veteran public corruption and war crimes prosecutor, is also leading the probe into key aspects of the January 6, 2021, effort to overturn the results of a presidential election. The legal peril in Florida follows the indictment on 34 counts of falsifying business records earlier this year by a grand jury in Manhattan working closely with District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Trump has pleaded not guilty in that bookkeeping case centered on hush money payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the waning weeks of the 2016 race for the White House. Trump has denied having had an affair with Daniels, whose legal name is Stephanie Clifford, although he has admitted reimbursing Cohen for money paid to her. A prosecutor in Fulton County, Georgia, is leading a third investigation into Trump's alleged efforts to pressure state election officials there. The former president has vowed to continue with his campaign to return to the White House in 2024 despite the criminal indictments. Trump reaped millions of dollars in contributions after charges against him were unveiled in New York this year. He continues to lead a small field of candidates for the Republican nomination. The dispute over records at his resort at Mar-a-Lago in Florida exploded into public view in August 2022, when FBI agents executed a search warrant at the property while Trump was out of town. The former president tweeted about the search, which set off a weeks-long legal tug-of-war in Florida and Washington, D.C. Attorney General Merrick Garland later told reporters he personally approved the search, and a federal magistrate judge signed off on the search warrant after reading a sworn statement from the FBI. Probable cause exists to believe that evidence, contraband, fruits of crime, or other items illegally possessed, were being improperly stored in various places at Mar-a-Lago, the affidavit stated. Some so sensitive that the government officials involved in the search lacked the security clearance to review them. That discovery followed a letter from Trump's lawyer attesting that they had conducted a diligent search for government secrets at the site and had found no more of them. This year, in yet another unusual twist, a judge in D.C. found cause to believe Trump may have used his attorney to break the law in connection with the Mar-a-Lago papers. As a result, Judge Beryl Howell turned back Trump's attorney-client privilege claims and allowed the Justice Department to proceed. That attorney, Evan Corcoran, has been spotted at the federal courthouse in recent weeks, apparently making an appearance before a grand jury behind closed doors. Trump's own public statements could be used against him when the case makes its way to court as evidence of his state of mind. Remember this. This is the Presidential Records Act. I have the right to take stuff, Trump told Fox News host Sean Hannity in March 2023, adding, I have the right to take stuff. I have the right to look at stuff. But they have the right to talk. And we have the right to talk. Former President Donald Trump was charged in an indictment unsealed Tuesday with 34 felony counts of falsification of business records in the first degree. He pleaded not guilty to all, a historic first against a sitting or former president, at the culmination of an investigation into hush money payments that Trump paid prior to the 2016 election to adult film actress Stormy Daniels to cover up an alleged affair. Trump and his allies have called the charges politically motivated. Public days after a Manhattan grand jury indicted Trump. Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud. Intent to conceal another crime, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said in a news conference after Trump's arraignment. That is exactly what this case is about. 34 false statements made to cover up other crimes. These are felony crimes in New York State no matter who you are. We cannot and will not normalize serious criminal conduct. Trump was seen entering a Manhattan courtroom for his arraignment at 2:28 p.m. Eastern Time, and left the courtroom at 3:25. Trump was not handcuffed when he entered the room, and did not speak when he exited. Trump was seen in photos seated at the defendant's table in the courtroom. In between his lawyers Joe Tacopina and Susan Necheles. New York police officers stood behind the table. Today's unsealing of the indictment shows that the rule of law died in this country, Tacopina said outside the courthouse. If this man's name was not Donald J. Trump, there is no scenario we'd all be here today. The charges allege that, beginning in mid-2015, Trump orchestrated a scheme with others to influence the 2016 presidential election. They allegedly identified and bought negative claims about him to suppress their publication to boost his electoral prospects. By doing this, they allegedly violated election laws and made false entries in the business records of various entities in New York. They also allegedly took steps that mischaracterized, for tax purposes, the true nature of the payments made in the scheme. The charges also allege that in or about October or November 2015, the owner of the National Enquirer tabloid learned that a former Trump Tower doorman was trying to sell information regarding a child that Trump had allegedly fathered out of wedlock. At the owner's direction, his publishing company negotiated and signed an agreement to pay the former doorman $30,000 to acquire exclusive rights to the story. The company then allegedly falsely characterized this payment in its records. It bought the information from the former doorman without fully investigating his claims, and later concluded that it was not true, but the owner directed that the deal take place because of his agreement with Trump and his lawyer. The indictment includes a separate $150,000 payment to another woman who allegedly had an intimate relationship with Trump. Former Playboy model Karen McDougal is not named in the charges, but she has talked openly about that experience in interviews. The case against Trump stems from a 2018 guilty plea by Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal attorney, who admitted to making illegal campaign contributions in the form of buying women's silence about their alleged relationships with Trump. He said that in 2016, he paid $130,000 to silence Daniels, who claimed she had an affair with Trump. Cohen got the money from a home equity line of credit. He arranged to be reimbursed over the course of the next year by Trump.